What's going on, guys? Welcome back. So let's talk about how it's going to be. You're probably going to have to be a millionaire to be in the middle class America soon. Let me explain why. We're also going to talk about how if you're in your like late 20s, early 20s, mid 20s, early 30s, 40s, likely, I would say by the current circumstance of the American dream, I would say that most people that I'm starting to at least associate with in my own life have not taken the precautionary measures to set up themselves for uh, a thriving retirement. Okay, and I can say this from my own personal. So basically, I'm going to explain to you why. Let's just do some numbers real quick. Let's just open up the dialogue. Feel free to comment on this video. We're going to talk about it. So, like right now, let's just give you a perfect scenario for retirement. You've worked for the last 40 years at your company. You're drawing a pension. You're drawing Social Security. Your house is paid for. Your cars are paid for. And everything is perfect. Right? That would be best case scenario. And just give you an idea, a rough estimate on numbers. Let's say you're making 100,000. Just say you were doing really well. Say you were doing like above the average middle class for the majority of your life. You were actually making 100,000 for the last 20 years. Let's be very, very broad here and give this imaginary person we're talking about a big upper hand, just so you can see the wealth gap on where I'm driving these numbers. So you have your house paid off. You live in California. You're me, but you're now 62. Okay, and you just started collecting Social Security. I've been making $100,000 a year for the last 20 years. I've actually had a very successful career as a orthopedic surgeon, actually. And that's, I worked at a state hospital. I was, in the 90s, I was only getting paid, $100,000 a year. It didn't really go up from there. I had always driving new cars, always driving new stuff. Two daughters I had to put through college. Expenses of, vacations and the lifestyle of being a successful orthopedic surgeon. So you have this imaginary person who's now 62, me, and basically, I got a pension, I got a full retirement. I'm getting close to 2,000, we'll estimate, a month on retirement, at 100 grand a year. And then my pension is another, 3,000 a year. So I'm getting 5,000 a month. Month. Discrepancy on the math. So as you're taking the notes, that's a pretty practical story. That's a pretty, I would say a normal American dream in the living. And I think we can take that apart very, very quickly. We can actually pull back the veil of lies very quickly on that. And the first lie being, even if you're making 100 grand a year for the last 20 years and you've done really well, I'm still going to argue that you're likely going to have to change like your maybe living habits, right? Even if you've been in the same house for 20 years and they haven't raised your taxes, based on a new purchase or anything like that. But we're playing it at the most conservative level here, so you guys can understand how just with a little minute changes in the game plan about retirement, how quickly stuff can change. And that's because I would say, most people, not even half, I would say like a lot, like likely 4/5, I would say, are, they're not in this bracket. A lot of people in their 40s, 50s purchase homes with 30-year mortgages thinking they're just going to refinance and they're going to live forever. Another dynamic could be is, most people buy new stuff. They upgrade their cars, they update their homes, they, spend more than they make, right? So now let's look at the bum. Let's look at the bum. Let's look at me, the bum. So this is another somebody that we're making up. Let's say they worked a very menial job. They had a very low paying career. Maybe they're making 40 grand now, but 10, 20 years from now they were making 20, that kind of thing. I had a full-time job. I was a copy. I was an IT person. Let's say that. I was an IT or something, or I was some of these jobs, right? Any of these jobs that are just, they're just it's like if I were to go get a restaurant job, guys, I know what I'll be making. I know what I'll be making. It's just like the same jobs. There's only so high you can go. And these jobs are basically just kind of in the middle. They're just like everyday jobs. There's nothing wrong with these jobs. I mean, I've had these jobs. I'm just giving you an idea. So, you know, you're 62 now. You have maybe your car paid for. Your house is not paid for. Let's not use IT. Let's use another job, something with like a pension. You worked at an auto factory, okay? An auto factory. Or you worked at a, you know, as a teacher, right? There's a good example. So any of these jobs that have a pension, you know, maybe you're getting $2,300 a month in your pension. You're getting full retirement. You're getting your Social Security. So say you're still doing pretty conservatively well. You're still doing, you know, maybe even close to where the doctor is, honestly, depending on, you know, what little things are financed and what aren't. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys, is that it doesn't matter how we add up the numbers. The idea of what it takes to get to a certain place, and then once you arrive at that place, what it takes to sustain the same lifestyle is really what I'm most focused on doing. And I'm not even to the lifestyle I want to be living now. I'm just saying I kind of am. I just got to fix a few little things. And what I mean by that is if you want to live specifically in California, but the same thing could apply anywhere, depending on how much you make. Obviously, it goes back to a federal return from how much you made over the course of your life. And if you have pension or retirement, I would say most people do not. And it's very questionable to assume that those aren't guaranteed as well. Pensions, mutual funds, pensions especially, these could all go up in a catastrophe, guys. You might not even get these. And I hate to say it like that. I mean, it'd be crazy to think. But, you know, it happens with grocery store workers. You know, they're getting less than they thought, or, you know, all these fucking things, man. And I would say that you're going to have to be a millionaire, like starting yesterday, if you want to have the perfect case scenario and or just the ability to sustain. Because you can't buy a house at 40 or 50 and expect, unless you have a plan, a long-term plan. And the problem with that is most people don't. And a lot of people just barely get by with what they got. But even if you do, you really have to be selective in the plan that you choose to go with, because you can have the best pension in the world. You can have the best money manager advising you on all your stock portfolio and letting him or her just run the balance book for you. And yeah, you might do okay. I'm just saying that I think even if that were the case, at the rate we're currently going, we don't even have to adjust the rate we're going. Just since I've been alive, these are the numbers you're going to have to make. You're going to have to be a millionaire person for like 20 or 30 years. If you're in your 30s or 40s, if you want to be living a millionaire lifestyle now and then. Okay, so a lot of people live millionaire lifestyles for fucking, you know, there's been people that have won the lottery and they've lived it for a month, or, you know, a few months, or 3 years or 5 years. There's been people that, you know, have successful businesses that go belly up. Guys, I've seen millionaires lose their money. I've seen literally legitimate millionaires in my direct friend circle lose everything, guys. And that's what I'm trying to tell you is, don't be confused with what you see and leverage debt products. Don't be confused with don't be so sure that the numbers are what they say they are, you know, when you're just walking around and stuff. Because if those numbers were true, you'd have to legitimately be in California. Obviously, other states are different, but you'd have to be a millionaire for roughly 30 fucking years, 20 years to set up the same type good scenario we started the video with the doctor and or the, you know, the middle class job with a pension, you know, like I was telling you, various companies, some offer pensions, you know, like retirements, obviously, like I said, IT, like look at somebody who's worked at IBM for 50 years or 30 years. Do you think they're out living a millionaire lifestyle? No, they're not. Look at the teacher that's worked 30 years, that's getting full retirement and pension. Do you think they're living $1 million lifestyle? No, likely they're not. And look at the doctor who worked at a state hospital for 30 years, who got a pension, retirement, and maybe had some moderate good investment, had all their stuff paid off. Do you think they're living a modern day lifestyle right now? Likely not. Because that's the thing, guys, is there's so many likely nots. There's so many that go against that. And yes, I'm not saying people can't be successful. Don't misread what I'm saying. I'm just saying that if you want to live that type, that is success, really, is those people that I mentioned. But even if you want to get that now, all I'm saying is it's going to take $1 million a year for 20 years.